Greetings, my name is Isaac Scott Green, but you can just call me Dr. Green. Welcome to my office, and today we're going to be looking at an SCP that is extremely scary. This SCP is not for the faint of heart. I recommend you leave if you cannot handle scary things. Alright? Still watching? Great. The SCP we're reviewing today is SCP-096. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-096 is to be contained in its cell, a 5 meter by 5 meter by 5 meter airtight steel cube at all times. Weekly checks for any cracks or holes are mandatory. There are to be absolutely no video surveillance or optical tools of any kind inside SCP-096's cell. Security personnel will use pre-installed pressure sensors and laser detectors to ensure SCP-096's presence inside the cell. Any and all photos, videos, or recordings of SCP-096's likeness are strictly forbidden without approval from Dr. and 05. Description: SCP-096 is a humanoid creature measuring approximately 2.38 meters in height. The subject shows very little muscle mass, with primarily analysis of body mass suggesting mild malnutrition. Arms are grossly out of proportion with the rest of the subject's body, with an approximate length of 1.5 meters each. Skin is mostly devoid of pigmentation, with no signs of any body hair. SCP-096's jaw can open to 4 times the norm of an average human. Other facial features remain similar to an average human, with an exception of the eyes, which are also devoid of pigmentation. It is not yet known whether SCP-096 is blind or not. It shows no signs of any higher brain functions and is not considered to be sapient. SCP-096 is normally extremely docile, with pressure sensors inside its cell indicating it spends most of the day pacing by the eastern wall. However, when someone views SCP-096's face, whether it be directly, by a video recording, or even a photograph, it will enter a state of considerable emotional distress. SCP-096 will cover its face with its hands and begin screaming, crying, and babbling incoherently. Approximately 1 to 2 minutes after the first viewing, SCP-096 will begin running to the person who viewed its face, who will, from this point on, will be referred to as SCP-096-1. Documented speeds has varied from 35 km an hour to 100 km an hour and seem to depend on the distance from SCP-096-1. At this point, no known material or method can impede SCP-096's progress. The actual position of SCP-096-1 does not seem to affect SCP-096's response. It seems to have an innate sense of SCP-096-1's location. Note: this reaction does not occur when viewing artistic depictions. See document 096-1. Upon arriving at SCP-096-1's location, SCP-096 will proceed to kill and SCP-096-1. 100% of cases have left no trace of SCP-096-1. SCP-096 will then sit for several minutes before regaining its composure and becoming docile once again. It will then attempt to make its way back to its natural habitat. Due to the possibility of a mass chain reaction, including breach of Foundation secrecy and large civilian loss of life, retrieval of subjects should be considered alpha priority. Dr. has positioned for immediate termination of SCP-096. see interview 096-1. Termination order has been approved and is being carried out by Dr. on see incident 096-1-alpha. Document number 096-1. Experiment 096-1 is headed by Dr. Dan. Purpose is to test SCP-096's abilities while obtaining complete physical description of SCP-096. D9031 is a 32-year-old convicted felon and former tattoo artist. D9031 is placed inside Bathysphere 303-A, which is then lowered in the Tonga Trench off the coast of New Zealand. Position is approximately kilometers from SCP-096's temporary containment cell at site. The following was recorded via video surveillance inside Betasphere 303-A, between it and Dr. Dan's control site on the New Zealand mainland. Bathysphere 303-A reaches final depth of 10,800 meters.
It stopped. What now? Do you feel fine? No sickness? Anything? My ears hurt. That should be expected. Now, on your left should be a steel container. Open it. And there will be a manual folder holding several photographs. Open it and describe the first photograph, please. Nothing. It's just an empty cell. Thank you. Please set the photograph face down in the receptacle to your right, and look at the next photograph. It's the same cell, but there's a foot in it, I think. Describe it, please. It's pale, bony, sort of creepy, actually. Place the photograph in the receptacle, face down, and look at the next one. Okay. Oh, shit. Describe the photograph. It's, I don't know. Some creepy person. Describe the photograph, please. Man, he's pale, has white eyes, something fucked up is happening with his mouth. What the heck is this thing?
At this point, approximately 1332 Standard Time, Dr. Dan and Experiment Control is notified that SCP-096 has breached containment. The fastest path to SCP-096-1 has been cleared of civilians and other image capturing devices, and SCP-096 is being tracked by a satellite via tracking collar.
On your right, there should be another steel container. Open it. It's a pad of paper and a pencil. Yes. Please draw a sketch of the photograph you saw. I'm done. Good. Place the drawing in the receptacle on your left and close the door. What now? Please stand by.
14 minutes pass. SCP-096 is confirmed to be at SCP-096-1's position and is diving. Transponder signal ends at 9,339 meters as pressure goes beyond the device's operational limits. The camera shows the bathysphere shaking slightly. From SCP-096-1's reaction, it is assumed SCP-096 is on the hull and is visible through the viewpoint. SCP-096-1 begins yelling and screaming profanities towards SCP-096. Video and audio feed is cut as the hull of Betasphere 303-A is breached. SCP-096 is recovered by Surface Recovery Team Foxtrot-303-A without incident. Sketch of SCP-096 is also recovered, and a quick test confirms no hostile reaction from SCP-096. Sketch is sent to Experiment Control on New Zealand, while SCP-096 is moved to permanent containment. Audio log from Interview 096-1. Interviewer, Dr. Interviewed, Captain, former commander of Retrieval Team Zulu 9-Alpha. Retrieval Incident Number 096-1-Alpha. Begin log.
It always sucks to get initial retrieval duty. You have no idea what the damn thing is capable of, besides what jacked up information the field technicians can scrap up. And you're lucky if you even tell you the whole story. They told us to bag and tag. Didn't tell us jack shit about not looking at the damn thing. Could you describe the mission, please? Yeah. Sorry. We had 2 choppers. One with my team, and one on backup with Zulu 9-B and Dr. We spotted the target about 2 clicks north of our patrol path. I'm guessing he wasn't facing our direction. Or else he would have taken us out then and there. You reported saying SCP-096 didn't react to the cold. It was negative Celsius. Actually, it was negative. And yes, it was butt naked and didn't so much as shiver. Anyway, we landed, approached the target, and Corporal got ready to bag it. That's when Dr. called me. I turned to answer it, and that's what saved me. The target must have turned around and my whole squad saw it. That's when SCP-096 entered in a rage emotional state. Yep. Sorry. Got the willies for a second. That's alright. Yeah. Well, I never saw its face. My squad did, and they paid for it. Could you describe it a little bit more, please? Yeah. It started screaming at us and crying. Not like animal roaring, though. It sounded exactly like a person. Really fucking creepy. We started firing at it. I picked up Corporal and ripped his leg off. He was screaming for our help. Anyway, we were blowing chunks out of the target, round after round. It didn't do jack with it. I almost lost it when it started. That's when you order the use of an AT-4 HEDT launcher, an anti-tank gun. I started carrying it ever since SCP got loose. I've always seen those things tear through hanks like tissue paper. The same thing to the target. There was significant damage to SCP-096? It didn't even flinch. It kept tearing apart my squad, but with half its torso gone. But it was taking damage. If it wasn't showing it. It must have lost all its organs, all its blood, but it didn't acknowledge any of it. Its bone structure wasn't hurt at all, though. It kept tearing my squad apart. So, no actual structural damage. How many rounds would you say were fired at SCP-096? At the least, 1,000. Our door gunner kept his GAU-19 on it for at least 20 seconds. 20 seconds! That's 600.50 caliber rounds pumped into that thing. We might as well have been spitting at it. This is when Zulu 9-B arrived. Yeah, and my squad was gone. Zulu 9-B managed to get the bag over its head and it just sat down. We got into the chopper and got it here. Don't know how I never saw its face. Maybe God or Buddha, whoever thought I should live. Jack. We have obtained an artistic depiction of SCP-096's face. Would you like to view it? You know, after hearing that thing scream, and the screams of my men, I don't think I would have put a face to what I heard. No. Just, no. Alright. I believe we're done here. Thank you, Captain. Let this be on record that I am formally requesting that SCP-096 to be terminated as soon as possible.
End log. And that was SCP-096. He truly is a staple of the SCP Foundation, and I love him for that. Not only for that, but I love him for many other reasons. Anyway, the next SCP we'll be doing in the next video is SCP-1048. If you know which number that is, you're in for a ride. Check out my Instagram so you don't miss anything and can vote for the next SCP that will be in my next videos. Anyway, this has been Dr. Green, signing out. Goodbye.